everyone. Welcome to A Girl in Love with Tech podcast. My name is Rachel Rabo. I'm a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, a Power Platform developer, and a Dynamics 365 CRM developer. This podcast is streamed live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also on Twitter. You can get the recorded episode on Spotify, on Anchor, Google Podcasts, my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So a lot of places. Okay. So our special guest for today is Jordan.
Yes, Heidi Jordan. Yep, that's me.
I got your name correctly. Okay. And today we are going to be talking about how our day to day looks like, how she being a modern workplace consultant, what does it take to be a modern place consultant working with Microsoft Power Platform? Hi Hindi.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so if you can introduce yourself so that we'll know more about you.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Heidi Jordan. As Rachel mentioned, I am a senior
Yeah,
modern workplace consultant with Avanade. I
yeah.
am a Microsoft MVP for business applications. So
Okay.
all things Power Platform is what I love to do.
Yeah.
I am originally from Minnesota, but I went to college in South Dakota and just kind of stayed here. So I am
That's awesome.
originally a lake girl. I love to be on the water in the summer. So
Yeah,
um, summer's coming to an end here, though. So now we're getting back into the school season. So
yeah, sure.
yes. And then my family, I've got two little boys and one in college, and then my
That's
husband,
nice.
Kyle. So, and he's also in tech. So it's really fun because we get to have a lot of tech conversations at the house. So
Yeah, that's so cool.
yes.
That's really, really nice. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, people in tech, we all like to talk about tech with each other. So it's really fun
Yeah.
to
When
have
you start
that
talking
support at
about
home.
tech, like there's no end to it. Like especially when the person is playing with you, like
Oh my gosh, I know. And you're in so many verticals, man. You have so much to talk about with all the
yeah,
dynamics and all the different avenues that you get into. It's pretty cool.
yeah, true. It's really nice. Okay, so for our listeners, maybe this is the first time they're listening to a Girl in Love with Tech podcast, or maybe this is the first time they're hearing about Power Platform, or they don't know what Power Platform is. So, on your own view, what is Microsoft Power Platform?
Sure. Yeah, Microsoft Power Platform, it's exactly that. It's a platform. You know, it is a collection of products that Microsoft puts out to really enable business users to create solutions to their own problems. So that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. It's, you know, simple things like you're taking your normal everyday business processes and automating them. It really allows people to think outside the box and think, you know, well, if I can automate that one little thing, like what else can I do with it? That's really what the
yeah,
Power Platform is in a non-tech view. But it does contain 5 products. So the first one is Power Apps. That is really like a electronic form builder. And
yeah,
then there's Power Automate, which is like a workflow tool to
yeah,
automate processes. Power BI, which helps you create visualizations with your data, make all those
yeah,
pretty charts that you see.
yeah.
Power Pages, which is websites. So you can create
Yes.
really cool websites with that. And Power Virtual Agents, which is help with like chatbot
Yeah.
functionality. So that's really the whole Power Platform package and offering from
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Package ecosystem.
It is, yes, it is. It's really
Yeah.
truly a platform. It covers all the bases.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think there's one thing I want to ask you, like, how did you get started with Microsoft Power Platform? How did you know about Microsoft Power Platform? Was it your role, your current role, or before now?
Sure. You know, I can start from the beginning. And, you know, I actually went to college for math. Like, I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to teach
Yeah,
math. I have a math degree. So, problem
yeah,
solving is really in my nature. You know, I always knew that I wanted to do something with problem solving, which is a perfect lead into the Power Platform, you know, because
yeah,
that's what you're doing with these tools is solving problems.
yes,
But
true.
I did have, right after college, I started as a business analyst and got into SQL and doing some reporting. So
Okay.
that is a really good background, I would say, if anyone is looking into the
Yeah,
Power Platform. If you have knowledge of databases and SQL and then creating
yeah,
reports, you kind of need that foundational experience for that. So that helped
yeah,
me out a
very
lot.
true.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then I also did some SharePoint work. I did SharePoint for,
okay.
gosh, I still do SharePoint now, but you know, that was really how I got my start into Microsoft was with SharePoint. So that is probably the number one backend of our platform is SharePoint. So I would say if you have a good foundation with SharePoint, start looking into the Power Platform and seeing how you can extend
Yeah.
SharePoint and use that as your data source with those tools.
Yeah, very true. SharePoint is very, very good. Yeah. It's a very good place to start.
It's
And
usually included, in everyone's licensing, and it's the
yeah,
number one source because it's included and people are already using it.
yeah,
And you
and
can take that farther with Power Platform.
yeah, and it's free, right? Yeah, it's free.
Yep,
So
exactly.
it goes along with your license. So
Yes.
it's
Yep,
nice.
for sure.
Yeah. So another question I have to ask you, you are a senior modern workplace and consultant. So what
hmm
does that mean?
So, Modern Workplace really kind of encompasses all of the Microsoft 365 solutions that Microsoft offers. The everything from SharePoint to Word to um, Viva and
Yeah.
Teams and all that. Those Modern Workplace tools, but also the Power Platform side. So I kind of
Okay.
get to do a smattering of all those things, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I've been working with like InfoPath remediation, so I
Okay.
did, as everyone knows, InfoPath is dead. And so we all need to get off of InfoPath and go on to
Yeah.
Power Apps. So,
Yeah.
projects like that, or helping organizations migrate from legacy workflow systems into Power Automate,
Yeah.
those kinds of tools, really helping them modernize their business processes and take advantage of the tools that they're already investing in. So
Yeah.
that's really the focus of Modern Workplace.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I think most, if this is the first time you're hearing about modern workplace consultants, so India has given you a perfect explanation and also pointed out that there's a career like that.
It's kind of a smattering of we all used to be like SharePoint people, or
Yeah,
we were SQL people, or we were
yeah,
this, but now this is all kind of coming together, which, in the role that they call Modern Workplace. So they're taking away that, with SharePoint admin and like the patching and all the stuff that involves servers and the things that I really didn't want to do.
yeah,
They're taking all that out and just giving us all a layer to perform at, where we can be Modern Workplace people. So we can know a little bit about Dataverse and Power
yeah,
Platform and just marry that all together to create these really awesome, powerful solutions. And
yeah,
again, the goal of Modern Workplace.
yeah. You're working with so much tools, and that's amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really amazing. I think the next question I'm curious about is how is your day to day like? How does a day to day look like working with Power Platform or working with Microsoft 365 applications?
Sure. It's a lot of working with the tech. Like you also, obviously, when you're in tech, you got to stay current on the tech, which is why I lean so much on the community to help me with that.
Yeah,
Doing trainings and learning, but the other half of that is really user adoption. User adoption is huge with the Power Platform and maker enablement. The Power Platform has created this space between the end users who are consuming the products and IT, who is really just concerned with keeping everything secure, and they don't want to be involved in the build with the products. So it
yeah,
really created this little chunk of people called the makers. And that's the people that I get to work with on a day-to-day is, how do we
okay,
empower them, and how do we, swing these tools as a positive change in their business, and then how do they relay that to their users so that their roles are successful. So that's
okay.
really what I like to focus on, is again that user adoption. And Microsoft has some wonderful resources for user
Yeah,
adoption.
they do.
They have a
Microsoft.
whole site, like an adoption site, that I go to
Yeah.
all the time, and kind of like the SharePoint lookbook. That was when I used to do SharePoint, the lookbook was my favorite place to go. So go check that out too. But
Yeah. What did
but
you
yeah,
call it? SharePoint notebook, right?
the SharePoint lookbook. It's
Lookbook. Okay.
LOOKBOOK lookbook. Yep, lookbook.microsoft.com or something like that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I still go there just to look at it on the day to day because it's
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah. At least I think there's one thing, even though you forget about something, you also have an idea. Okay, I know where this is. I can go and check. I can
Oh
go
my
and check
gosh.
what it is.
Yes, there's so many resources out there for people getting started, and I use
Yeah.
them in my day to day, and I share them with others too. So,
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really amazing. I think another question I have to ask you is that what advice do you give to people who are interested, like especially for our listeners right now, who are
hmm
interested in starting a career in Power Platform or they are trying to transition into a career in Power Platform?
sure. I think the biggest one is the Microsoft Power Up program.
Yeah,
There is you just go and look it up on the internet. It's just called Microsoft Power Up. And the
yeah,
focus of that program is to take users who have little to no Power Platform experience and turn them into certified Power Platform. They include the certification exam with that. So, and I think it's a 3-month program, and it's 8 to 10 hours a week or something. And they actually take you through the whole the whole Power Platform and get you
yeah,
certified with that first fundamentals exam. So I think that's a great place to start.
yeah,
I have a blog posts out there. My blog is heidi-jordan.com, and I actually put together a couple of resources for starters. There's like 6
Yeah.
different places you can go to look up some of the things like the community calls and the Microsoft Learn trainings and all the websites you need to see. So I think just start digging around and start, also if you're not in the, I think I always take this back, and you got to focus on what you're trying to do, not so much the tech.
Yeah.
I've got this process and it's awful. Like maybe Power Platform can help me with it. So
Yeah.
then start breaking down your project and seeing what's awful about it, and then go on YouTube and see if someone has done something with the Power Platform on that piece of your process. You
Sure.
might find out that the Power Platform is the correct solution for that problem, and then you're going to learn more about the actual platform itself. So
Yeah, and that's one thing that's really really cool about the community, the Power Platform community. They get to write blogs. They write so much blogs. There's so much resources online, like YouTube videos. Most times when I have challenges, like I have issues with working on something, I just check online, and that process is actually online. I'm like, okay, wow, this is nice. Thank you for
I
writing
know.
this.
It's amazing. Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. You're not alone. You're
Yeah.
absolutely, someone has had that same problem and they've probably documented it, and there's probably a solution for you. That's the best part of this community.
Yeah, and the community is amazing and very supportive. So I think there's one thing too I have learned. Like if you want to get started in, for instance, the Power Platform community, it's amazing to actually connect with the community. Like look for local user groups around you, because we have so many user groups, so many
Hmm.
Power Platform user groups. Look for local user groups around you. They
Hmm.
might be having physical meetups or online meetups, so you can actually join. And also Twitter. I think everybody's on Twitter.
For sure. That's definitely a good
Yeah,
place. The Community Days website is also a website that surfaces all those conferences and all those
yeah,
um, SharePoint Saturday events and stuff that are out there. So it's the communitydays.org, I think, is the site that has a listing of all the events and all the details if you want to find any events near you. And that is a worldwide
yeah,
site too. So it does have all the events out there around the world. So it's pretty
yeah,
powerful.
yeah. It's amazing. I think Precious is saying that you should drop your blog link. I don't know if you
Oh
can.
yeah, sure. Yep. It's should I put it in the comments?
Yes, please.
Rachel, can you do that? I don't think I'm signed into the YouTube
Okay,
portion of
she
this. Just
just
heidi-jordan.com.
okay.
Thank
Dash.
you. Yep. It's heidi-jordan.com.
Okay. Dash. Jordan.
Yep. And there's, like I said, I think I put about 6 resources out there on my blog post. I know there's more. So if you ever
Okay.
want to
Is
know
this
more,
correct?
reach out. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Perfect. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Precious.
Yeah. I have a question for you though, Rachel. How did you get started? I'm giving my advice to others about how to get
Yeah.
started, but I'm curious how you got started yourself.
Okay, I got started with attending a Power Platform bootcamp, and that was in 2021, October, November 2021. I got to, it was kind of different for me then because I had no idea about careers in tech. Like, I had no idea that, okay, I know that there is tech, things are happening, but I had no idea that there are actually careers out there in tech. And I was studying industrial mathematics. So when I ask questions on, okay, what can I do with industrial mathematics, people are telling me teacher, lecturer, stuff like that. I can work in the bank. So I was actually curious on what to do, what is next, because I was curious on what is next, what I can do. I was just going to school, but I don't know what the future is, what
Hmm.
I'm going for. Yeah, so Power Platform was like a breakthrough for me. I got
Sure.
to attend a boot camp, know about Power Platform, and during that period, I was able to build applications, work on workflows, chatbots, and I was like, okay, wow, this is amazing. Yeah,
That's cool. That brings up a good point that, most of us didn't go to school for tech backgrounds.
yeah,
We went to school for problem solving, really, is all that, the mathematics background, everything that you can be in this and you don't have to have a background in tech. I think that's a point we really need to drive home, that it just
yeah,
takes the willingness to learn and solve problems, and
yeah,
if you're passionate about your job and solving problems, That's
Yeah.
all you really need. But we're just going to give you the tools to get you there. But then also, it is not easy. Like that,
Yeah.
they think that
It's,
low code is supposed
yeah.
to be simple. It's not. You know,
Yeah, it's not easy, and Power Platform is so wide. Like you can't finish learning Power Platform. It is not possible.
there's something
Because
new every day. It's an evergreen product, so that's the nature of it is that there's so much new to learn. But if you can find a couple of things about the one product that you have, I really focus on the Power Apps and Power Automate. That's really my bread and butter.
yeah,
you
same,
know
same with me.
and I like all the other ones. I just, and I try to dabble in those from time to time, but I
Yeah,
really like, just pick a couple, focus on it, and pick something small. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
this big grandiose solution. Like my
true.
first solution was to automate the document review process for like
Okay.
document control, like banks, like policies, procedures, things that
Yeah.
need to be automated on a yearly basis.
Okay.
And it was already happening in a third party tool, and they
Yeah.
wanted to get off that and use Microsoft. So I
Okay.
did do a larger process, and that took me 9 months to build my
Um,
first working solution. So
yeah.
it's not an overnight thing, but pick
No.
something small. Pick like
Yeah.
an employee picnic reservation form or something,
Yeah.
and send an email, like something simple like that, and just get started. Because once you see that and other people see what you can do with that, they're going to want more. And then you're going
That's
to be the
true.
Power Platform person.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's also one thing to notice too. Like a lot of people, they have this question. They are like, okay, I don't want to go for a career in Power Platform. I'm currently working, and I'm working in my role. Let me say, for instance, I'm working as a data analyst, and I'm hearing so much about Power Platform. Like people are singing it everywhere. Power Platform this, Power Platform that. So how can I use this particular Power Platform that is being discussed everywhere? How can I use it in my role? I've seen a lot of questions like that. So what do you
Mhm.
think?
Mhm. I think that again, it's focusing on the problems at hand, and then if you can solve it using a solution like Power Platform that's already included in your licensing, I think
Yeah,
that's a huge thing for businesses, and something that people can focus on. Like I said, start small. Like start. There
yeah,
are so many internal processes that can be automated that something as simple as you go and shadow users, go see what they're doing, and just kind of dig into those processes, like people getting emails and then they're manually saving them to a file share. Like you
yeah,
can automate that. People don't understand that you can create a flow to
yeah,
grab that, scan the
yeah,
item, move it into SharePoint, and then post a Teams message. And there you just
yeah,
use like 4 Microsoft products that all are designed to work together like that to simplify these processes. So
yeah.
that's a very simple example of how you can use the Power Platform. Like I said, it doesn't have to be grandiose, but those are just some of those small little things that you
There's more
can
things
do.
to do.
And
Yeah,
there's templates. You can go out
yeah,
there and there's already
we have
templates
to.
that do this on the Power
Yeah,
Automate site. And all you have to do
that's
is
true.
plug in your connections. So
Yeah.
try it
I
out.
yeah, I think there's also one thing that people miss out on. They're like, okay, Power Platform, and they don't know that maybe they are using Power BI, and they don't know they're already using Power Platform because Power BI is a part of Power Platform.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep, Power BI is a different animal. It's a wonderful animal, but it is definitely different from the other products I would say that's out there.
yeah,
I think that would require even more training and thought versus the other ones. Like I think that there's a lot more. It's almost like a different mindset. If you're very into database architecture or any ETL things like that, that Power BI might be the route you'd want to go. If you know
yeah,
how to do data modeling or even connections, to pull data from your other sites and make these cool visualizations. I think that's really kind of that route. But if you are a person who likes to automate processes, work with
good.
Excel, things like that, that might be the Power Apps and the Power Automate route.
Yeah. So if you are listening, you don't have to learn all the tools in Power Platform at once because you are going to get overwhelmed. Even with learning just one, it's not easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And even
just
there's other products too, like I mentioned that the employee picnic reservation form. Let's
yeah,
talk about that. If you don't know how to use Power Apps and you want to use a form, like Microsoft
yeah,
Forms is available and you can
yeah,
hook that up to Power Automate. So there are other like low code options versus
yeah,
the Power Apps low code, the no code essentially. So
yeah,
there's just start somewhere. Start
yeah,
small,
true.
start somewhere, go look up some videos, just start
Yeah.
digging. That's the only way you're going to learn is if you actually get your hands dirty.
Yeah, I love what you said. Start small. Like you don't have to start so big. You don't have to. Yeah, start. It's very very important. Start small. Yeah.
Yep. And keep in mind that we all started at the same place. Power Platform came out in like 2016. So that was when everyone was back on the same level playing field, and we've all come this far
Yeah.
from the same place, So we've all been where you are starting out. And
Yeah. Sure.
some of us have just, so the community and the platforms that some have created from this is they've, developed businesses from it, and that's all they're doing is Power Platform. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So if you are not using Microsoft Power Platform, start using Microsoft Power Platform.
Absolutely.
And if you are thinking that, okay, I'm hearing about Microsoft Power Platform and I don't want to be a Power Platform consultant or have a role, have a title that has Power Platform, you are currently working, you can use Power Platform as a tool in your role. You can use it to make your day-to-day more easy.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you do manually, you can easily just automate them. Like,
Exactly. Everyone can, benefit from automation, whether you're a Power Platform person or not, for sure. Everyone wants to make their job easier,
Yeah, sure. Make a job easier. So I don't think we have any questions from the chat. The person who asked for the blog. Yep. So
Perfect.
do you have any advice to our listeners? Anything you love to say to them?
I think we covered it, most of it. Like I said,
Yeah.
just start small.
Yeah.
Focus on the problem at hand that you're trying to solve, not so much the tech.
Okay.
Don't worry about learning a specific tool. Do that discovery and figure out the problem that you're having,
Yeah.
and then maybe reach out to the community and see.
Yeah.
The community has probably already solved that problem with the Power Platform. So maybe
Yeah.
get someone's advice on how do I solve this problem, not really how do I get started learning Power Apps.
True.
I think it's more how do I build this document review system using SharePoint as the backend. What are the tools I can use for that? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the conversations to have. Again, reach out to the community, join a community call. I think that's really the
Yeah.
best place to get started is just the community calls.
Yeah.
Listen in and see what other people are doing, steal their
Yeah.
ideas. That's what we all love. We all put this out there for you to steal and run with it. So that's,
Yeah, and
um,
like you mentioned, Power Platform community call. You can join Power Platform community call and see other persons where they build solutions with Power Platform, and the kind of solutions they build, I'm like mind blown every time. So
me too.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's really inspiring to see what other people have done with it.
yeah,
And again, steal ideas.
yeah,
Or
it's
share ideas, I
amazing.
should say.
Yeah, and as we talk about the community, I think there are a lot of conferences that are happening,
Hmm.
but the few ones I'm aware of that I remember the names because there are a lot. We have the Nordic Summit happening in September, and we also have the South Coast Summit and the Microsoft Power Platform Conference happening in October. So,
Yes, I will be at
register.
the Power Platform Conference. It's in Las Vegas. It's October
Yeah,
2nd. So I will be speaking there. I cannot wait. It's going to be
yeah,
amazing. It's going to sell out. So buy your tickets now. Use my
yeah.
discount
Buy your
code.
tickets now. Yeah,
Yes, you got to be there. There's some other ones coming up in the fall. I'll be at the Twin Cities event too. They're doing a SharePoint
okay. In
Saturday in
Miami.
November. So I did apply for Miami, so I will probably be there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be in Toronto in November too for the Power of the Cloud. And then
Yeah,
there's
that's
also SharePoint
amazing.
Saturday Knoxville's coming up. I won't be there,
Yeah,
but that's in October. And EduCon is in Chicago too. So go
yeah,
check out that communitydays.org website. They're all
yeah.
listed out
True,
there. But get
true.
to an event if you haven't been to one.
Yeah, community days, you're going to see a lot of Power Platform events happening and you can easily register.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yes.
So,
Well, thank you
and also
so
don't,
much for having me. This is great to talk to you and learn more about you too.
yeah, thank you so much, Indy. Thank you. And we
Thanks,
are
everyone.
industrial, we are mathematics buddies.
For
Yeah,
sure. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So
All
thank
right.
you very much, everyone, and see you in the next podcast. Bye.